Someone sent me screenshots. Let's have a look. Hey, look. There is someone on Christian Mingle that looks familiar. Is that John Paul Miller? Well, it sure is, or at least someone claiming to be him. I thought I'd go ahead and warn any women who were thinking of dating him, just in case it really is him. We'll call him possibly John Paul. Let's look at his profile. Well, we have barely left the starting gate and he's already lied about his age. Isn't that just a possibly John Paul thing to do? He's not 40, ladies. He's 45. And these days, I'd even say a haggard-looking 45. That's probably just because a huge chunk of the internet hates his stinking guts, to quote Alfalfa from The Little Rascals. And he's being investigated by the FBI, and his church is failing, and he's possibly getting sued. There's a short list of what possibly John Paul enjoys, and we'll get to the full list later. But see how he puts that he enjoys fun? I think that's code for sex. Possibly John Paul has kids and they sometimes live with him. Well, he does have kids, 5 of them actually, but they haven't lived with him sometimes or any time lately. His ex-wife took him to court and got an emergency hearing that stopped him from having any visitation with his children. I think it was on the grounds that she thinks he's crazier than a Bessie bug. He also says he's widowed, and technically he's divorced first, and was close to being divorced again. His wife died tragically, and even though he insists it was suicide, and said she was bipolar and schizophrenic, we don't believe him. Possibly John Paul is non-denominational and goes to church every week. He's a pastor, which is true, and has a Juris degree /PhD/postdoc. I don't know if he's trying to say he has all 3 or just pick whichever one works the best for you, but he has none of the above. It is possible that old Daddy Reg wrote him out one of his buy one get one free diplomas, but he might as well have just written out, "I have all the degrees," on the back of a used envelope. He has dogs, drinks socially, and is a non-smoker. Rumor has it he might still be a smoker, but rumor also has it that he was prescribed nicotine patches, so he should at least be able to get through a coffee date with you without having to smoke. Possibly John Paul likes soccer, and boy howdy will he tell you all about how he was the best player ever as a kid, even though he didn't get a trophy and didn't go on to play pro or even college soccer. He wasn't that kind of best player ever. He also likes tennis, weight training, working out. Now, if you've seen the pics of him on the beach, don't let them fool you. He said he wasn't warned that someone was going to take pictures, or he would have sucked in his gut for those shots. Possibly John Paul also enjoys swimming and chess. Well, isn't that interesting? I wonder if he ever met anyone to play chess at a, community swimming pool. He also enjoys action movies, antiquing, auto racing, biographies, collecting, comics, stand-up comedy. He actually thinks he's a comedian and tries to be funny when he preaches. He doesn't really pull it off, though, but that's only because he's not funny. Possibly John Paul also says he likes talk show. So I guess only one. Luxury travel, rock, pop music, barbecues, cocktails, and fine dining. He does seem to enjoy going to dinner with one Susie Skinner, so she might just come along on your date. If so, make sure you put on your dancing shoes and prepare for having one of the craziest nights of your life, because that Susie is just a whirlwind of fun and energy. Look at her. She's practically buzzing with excitement. On a first date, possibly John Paul prefers to have coffee or tea, drinks, or a meal. Just to know, girls, he's probably going to want to have that fun he mentioned earlier, too. He's looking for women ages 23 to 38. I'm actually surprised his age preference went all the way up to 38. Careful, or you're going to end up with a girlfriend that you have to visit at the assisted living facility. Possibly John Paul is looking for a friend/activity partner, and I think we all know that activity partner is Christian Mingle code for friends with benefits. He's also looking for a long-term relationship, marriage, or marriage and kids. Yes, he already forgot that at the beginning he put that he didn't want kids. That's just how possibly John Paul keeps you on your toes. Fair warning, he might expect you to be okay with him having all of the aforementioned relationships at once. He is only willing to date someone within 200 miles of Myrtle Beach. So for all of you women outside a 200-mile radius, thank your lucky stars because you are officially safe from possibly John Paul.